Hi everyone, welcome back to Island Mama. Today we're heading outdoors and I would like to share this wonderful experience that I had visiting the T'INA Nation, their culture, and what they did in preparation for the winter. It was a great trip we had. Here we go.
500 years. And it was given to us from the supernatural powers. It wasn't a man-made bundle. It's got all the water animals, all the water birds. And this is what gives us life, this water bundle. And we also give offerings to the continuation of the sky spirit, we call it, or the sky river. Now the sky river constantly flows across the globe, giving us all the sustenance to live on Mother Earth, that water base. That's where we get our most natural water from. Once that sky river starts drying up, then we are in trouble as a human race. So this is what we always got to give offerings for, and we always got to give that protection for. Keep an eye on that sky river. I remember when before COVID hit, we had this big water conference, international water conference in Calgary, and they asked me to come and do the opening prayer. And when I was explaining the Sky River to pray for that a lot of murmurs came out of the crowd. And all of these world scientists came up to me after the prayer and said, "We never considered the Sky River." And I told them that is the most abundance amount of water that we receive. Keep an eye on that, because there's certain flows in the ocean, especially by Antarctica, that give us the jet streams and the climates that we enjoy. That's what you got to be careful of, and that's what you got to monitor. So I opened a lot of eyes there. And we all have belong to one of 11 language groups. Our language group is known as Dene, and we stretch from Alaska down to Mexico. And our people were the first inhabitants of North America. And our language comes from the Aztec dialect of South America. So when you think of North America as one big ice covering the whole continent, the first receding ice happened along the south. And this is where the most concentrated population of our Dene are located, called the Navajo, the Apache. That's all of our people. And then the next thaw happened along the west coast. So we migrated with this thaw. So in California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, right up to Alaska, we have our Dene people. And there was a land bridge between Alaska and Russia, and we found a Dene nation called Ket, the Ket people that live in Russia today. We're trying to make arrangements to meet them, to see the language and the oral history, but Russian government won't allow us. Putin doesn't want to deal with land claims. And then the second thaw happened in northern Alberta, northern Canada, called the Mackenzie River, the Mackenzie River Valley. And as this thaw happened, we migrated inwards. So today in northern Alberta, British Columbia, Yukon, Northwest Territories, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, all of our Dene stretch inwards like this. So this bundle that I talked about was given to us 3,500 years ago. And during the hard times, the dark times of our people, when government were taking all of our spiritual items and destroying it, burning it, burying it, some of them even sold it to museums that we're still finding in the world. This bundle went underground, and it was hidden. And as we're able to practice our ceremonies, it became available for us to bring out again and continue the ceremonies for our beaver bundle. So that's a little history that goes back about 3,500 years. Now, our T'INA, which means a great number of people, we had a separation along the mountain range. This is with Fort St. John Dene. And these Dene in British Columbia have the closest dialect to us in language. We separated from them and came onto the prairie. And then this area was known as the Algonquin, or what they call today the Blackfoot territory. And that stretched as far north as the North Saskatchewan River, and then as far south as the Yellowstone River. And then, yeah, just put them out there so people can sit on them. And then from the Rocky Mountains to the Cypress Hills in Saskatchewan. And every one of our nations in the plains had a title to the Cypress Hills, because that was the only place in the prairie where we would find an abundance of pine tree. So we can build these teepee poles and use as our travois to pull our belongings. And it was all prairie. This was all prairie here, right to the mountains. It was only in the interior British Columbia where the Kootenai was pushed. This was their territory. And the Blackfoots came from the east and pushed the Kootenai into the interior British Columbia today. So this is how we acknowledge that we came into the Blackfoot Confederacy territory, and then we became allies with them. So a little history. We'll continue history stories, but let's eat. This morning we had a lot of other big animals around this one, but we're here to share our techniques on how to preserve Mother Earth. So we take the food. We're going to start off with what we call the leading. We're thinking, thank you, all this meat, feed our families. The buffalo hunt has changed. Today, the buffalo hunt is economic development. That's what we call the hunt today. Every one of us need to work together to ensure the success of our businesses so that we can all enjoy the harvest. We can all enjoy the bounty we get from paying our bills to keep the lights on, the warmth of the furnace, the roof over our head, just like our ancestors did with the buffalo hunt. So the only difference in interpretation is we don't hunt buffalo no more. This economic growth is our new buffalo. And we get up in the morning to go to work. That's our new buffalo. He told the animals, which one of you would want to be the protector of the human being that I make in my image? All the animals wanted this. The lion jumped up. He said, oh, you're too ferocious. The giraffe jumped up. He said, oh, you're too tall. The moose jumped up and asked. And Creator said, no, you got a short temper. Right there, the moose put its head down and charged Creator. And all Creator did was put his right hand on his forehead, stopped him, and they said, see, you got a short temper. The dog jumped up. Creator said, yes, you're the one that will ask to look after the human being. So the dog will give its life to save a human life. That's how protective it is. So if any of you ever gone through the loss of a dog, it's actually took its life to save one of the family from harm's way. That's the blessing of death.
And to summarize, I gain more respect for people when I understand their culture. It is great. That was a great experience for me, and I definitely want to be a better person.